Hello, Wang families. This is Matt Stahl talking to you through Zoom. We're super excited to finally be returning some of our students to in-person learning on Monday, and we hope to be welcoming even more back in April. But I'm talking to everyone today about the new protocols and procedures that will be in place when your child does start returning to in-person learning at school. If you're returning to in-person learning on Monday morning, you should have already received a recorded call from me and been notified by your point person teacher. In our planning for reopening, our teachers prioritized making sure that our students could have the same teachers that they've had throughout the course of most of this school year. Our teachers and students have been through so much together that we really wanted to keep them together. However, that proved to be a complicated task given the staffing structure that we're going to have. I'm proud to say that my staff worked incredibly hard. They got incredibly creative. And we believe that we have plans in place that are going to allow our students to have the same teachers from now through the end of the school year, even if we welcome back more students in April. So, if your child is returning to in person learning on Monday, we wanted to share with you some reminders about how the school will be working with the new protocols in place. And if your child is going to return with us in April, they'll be following these same procedures at that time, too. First and foremost, mask wearing. We need to make sure that every student is coming to school with at least one or two masks, ideally two masks in case they need to replace one. Masks need to be covering the nose and the mouth at all times. We will have mask breaks and the kids will get to go outside and take off their masks and they'll be socially distanced. During lunch, we will socially distance the students so they can take off their masks. However, masks should be worn at all time, covering the nose and the mouth. Students will absolutely be given plenty of reminders to wear their masks. However, refusal to wear the masks or not following the protocol consistently may result in the student being reassigned to remote learning. So just make sure your child comes to school with a couple masks and it covers their nose and their mouth every morning. When you arrive at school, nothing's really changed as far as the drop off. The buses are still going to drop off in the roundabout like they always have. Car drop off in the morning is the same as it always has been. You're going to turn into the parking lot and drop off your student about halfway down the parking lot at the crosswalk so they can cross safely where the buses know that students cross the road. The thing that might be slightly different, or it is slightly different actually, is how the students are going to enter the school. This year, as you know, in the fall, we had students entering different doors. Our fifth grade students will enter the same door they've always entered. However, our sixth, seventh, and eighth graders are going to be spread out through a number of entrances. The reason we're doing that is to make sure that we can maintain socially distance awareness when the students are entering the building. That means whether you're a walker, a biker, a bus student, a car drop off, you're going to be entering through a designated door. But don't panic if you can't memorize this right now. We will have people out front directing students to the correct door based on their grade level at their homeroom. But in general, the fifth grade will be entering where they always enter. That's going to be exclusively the fifth grade entrance. The front plaza, we're going to be using both doors for some of our seventh and eighth grade homerooms, and we will direct the correct homerooms to the correct doors. And then the art entrance, another group of our seventh and eighth grade homerooms will be entering there. Our sixth graders will be entering the school entrance that's all the way in the back, kind of near the gym where they usually go out for recess. However, like I said, you don't need to memorize this right now. We will have people out front who are going to be directing students and helping them get to the correct entrances. Your students will be using these same exits in the afternoon, so it might take some of the students a little longer to walk around to car pickup because they might be leaving through a door that's a little bit further away than usual. Greeting etiquette, and to be honest with you, this is etiquette in school all day long. We really want to maintain that 6 foot distancing as much as we can. We know how excited the students are going to be to see one another. We know that they're going to want to give hugs and high fives and handshakes and all that kind of stuff. It's just not in the cards right now. So we are going to ask students to do everything they can to remember to maintain the 6 foot distancing from themselves and their peers, but also from themselves and their staffs. Again, it's the same as with the masks. We're going to give the kids plenty of reminders about this because we understand that it's human nature to just say hello to people and want to be near people. And we can't wait till we get back to normal for that. But in the meantime, we're going to give them reminders about social distancing. Please let your students know that we are not trying to be jerks when we enforce this. We really are trying to maintain safe standards. Because if we can do this correctly, we can keep our school open so that we don't have any outbreaks and we don't have to quarantine. But that's really going to be contingent on the mask wearing and students remembering the social distancing. We will give them reminders though. So please don't worry that we're going to kick kids out of school or anything like that. But just help us from reminding them to maintain social distancing when they're in school. Same thing along those lines with social distancing. It can't just be any which way in the hallways and on the staircases anymore. As you can see, we have put a blue line of tape down the middle of our hallways. We're going to be asking all students and staff to always stay on the right side of that tape, as far and close to the wall as they can to keep as much distancing in case we do have to have people passing in the hallways. As you can see, our staircases are also labeled. There's an up staircase and a down staircase. In the event that there is only a single staircase, as you can see with that last photo, there is a one-way sign on those staircases. So we are asking students and staff to make sure that they can find the staircases that will get them up to where they need to go or down to where they need to go throughout the building, so that once again, we can really try to maintain those standards of social distancing. The classroom experience is still going to be based on the 6-foot spacing. We have double desks and students should be 6 feet apart based on our measurements. The students will be wearing masks in the classrooms. However, the teachers are going to go over all of the specific expectations when the students get back to class. I do want to let families know that in some of our classrooms, it will be exclusively in person or exclusively remote. In some of our classrooms, there will be a combination of in-person students and remote students learning from the same teacher at the same time. Like I said, our teachers wanted to make sure that they could keep the same students that they have had for the majority of the school year. So some of them were able to design systems that will work for exclusively in-person or exclusively remote. But in other situations, specifically with the older grades, it was much more difficult because of the content teaching. So there will be combinations of in-person and remote teaching going on. However, we felt it was most important because of the relationships that our teachers and students have built and everything that they've been through together this year, that we keep those relationships from now until we finish this school year. For the most part, the in-person students are going to remain in their classrooms and the teachers are going to be the ones rotating. The reason for this is to minimize the traffic in the hallway, to minimize the crowding, to make sure that we're trying to keep the same cohort of students together and not kind of commingle cohorts of students. However, we will have mask breaks where the students will go outside. And for allied arts, we will have the students traveling with their same cohort of students to an allied arts classroom in the building. So they will get chances to walk around, they will get chances to have mask breaks, and they will have allied arts in the gym or in the art room or in the music room. So they will be getting out of the classrooms, but there will be a lot less travel in the hallways for our students with our new school design. Hand sanitizer. I think the hand sanitizer market has probably made millions over the last year, and we certainly invested a bunch. As you can see in the picture, we have economy size hand sanitizers that are going to be outside of every classroom. Your child's also welcome to bring their own hand sanitizer with them. We recommend regular hand sanitizing. We recommend taking a squirt when they go into the classroom, taking a squirt before lunch, and using hand sanitizer whenever they have the chance or the opportunity. If you are waiting for the hand sanitizer, there are 6-foot markings in the hallway. But again, please just remind your student to maintain the social distancing standards, because we're really going to try and enforce that in everything that we do. With that said, the bathrooms policy has to change a little bit. We are asking one student at a time in the bathroom. The way that we are going to help the students with that is we have installed outside of every student bathroom in the school a light that can be clicked on or clicked off by using their elbow to punch it or kind of hit it with their elbow a little bit. So what we're asking students to do is when they go into the bathroom to use their elbow to turn that light on. That light being on will be the signal to the other students that someone's in that bathroom and they need to wait. We are also asking students that before they leave the bathroom, they do a thorough hand washing. We have replaced all of the soap containers, and we are going to make sure that there is plenty of soap in there for students and ways to dry their hands. However, please pay attention to the lights that are outside the bathroom. And if it's on, it simply needs you need to wait at the marked spot until that person leaves the bathroom, because we are asking one student at a time in the bathrooms. Nurse Mead is going to be with us full time. The nurse's policy has not changed, meaning that if a student needs to go to the nurse, the teacher will contact the office and we will transport them to the nurse's office. We are asking parents, obviously, in the careful nature that we are bringing students back to school, if a child does need to be dismissed from school based on the nurse's evaluation, we are asking parents to be able to pick that student up within a reasonable amount of time. We want to try to minimize any outbreaks or any contamination or contagions in the building. So we really are asking for parents' support. If the nurse evaluates the student and they do need to be dismissed, if they could have someone who can pick that student up within a reasonable amount of time, it would be greatly appreciated. If you have any medications that you are bringing back to school, please make sure that you get them to the nurse as soon as you come back to school, ideally before your first homeroom class. That way we can inventory everything and make sure everything's ready for all of our students. Meals are going to be like they were in the fall. Breakfast and lunch will be eaten in the cafeteria. As the students enter school in the morning, there will be 4 separate carts in all the different areas of the building where a child can pick up their breakfasts. We will be doing the same thing for lunch. There will be 4 carts strategically placed throughout the building in all the areas so that students can simply come out of the classroom and return to the classroom with a lunch in the same cohort of students that they've stayed in, so no mixing. But we will be eating in the classrooms. The cafeteria simply was too much of an area where there would have been cross cohorts and things like that. So that's how the meals are going to work. Dismissal at the end of the day, again, much like drop off in the morning, it hasn't changed. The difference between the morning and the afternoon is still the same. Our car pickup for the walkers who are getting picked up by their parents is the back parking lot this time instead of the front parking lot like it is in the morning. Cars should wait for students in the back parking lot or parked on the street waiting for their child. Once again, remember, we are using many different exits this year, so it might take your child a few more minutes to walk around the building to get to where you're picking them up, but car pickup is behind the school. And the bus pickup location remains the same as it always was. It's going to be in that front loop, which is why we're asking parents in the afternoon, or why we always ask parents in the afternoon, to please use the back of the school for car pickup. But essentially, dismissal will be the same as it always has been, even during these crazy times of Corona. This is just a map to help you see. The buses at the end of the day should be the only ones in the front of the school. And in the back of the school, that's where the cars should be picking up their students at the end of each day. We're super excited to have students back in the building this week, and we hope that we'll be returning even more students in the coming months as we try and help get life back to some sense of normal after an incredibly challenging year. While this beard and this crazy hair that Mr. Stahl has might not be here when you return, because it might be time for a haircut and him to shave, I assure you that whether you return on Monday morning or whether you return later this spring, or even if you don't return with us until the fall, our staff is ready to welcome you guys back, and we are super excited to have everyone back. We know that this has been a crazy year, and we know that this has been tough, but so are you, and so are we. And we're going to get through this whole thing together like we've done it up to this point. I'm proud to be a part of the Wang School community. I'm proud of my staff. I'm proud of my families. And most importantly, I'm so proud of each and every student who has worked so hard through these incredibly challenging times. We'll see some of you in person on Monday morning. We'll see the rest of you remote, and we hope to see you back in person later in the spring. But contact your point person teacher if you have any questions at all, and we hope everyone is safe and healthy in your home. Oh, man, come on.